Jimmy the Baker, and this is his first today's special value. Over 30,000 orders placed already. Our storyline is open. If you love Jimmy the Baker, which so many of you do, by the way, because he won the Customer Choice Food Award for Best Breakfast, give us a call. We would love to hear from you. These are his crumb cakes. You are getting 14 individually packaged 6.5-ounce crumb cakes. They are so incredibly moist, decadent. That thick crumb layer is hand applied, and they are absolutely delicious. 6.5 ounces each. That's over 5.5 pounds total, because you are going to get 14 of them. Now you can choose between this beautiful oh, that's not the raspberry. I'm going to show you over here because it's going to be a little bit easier to see. I just had you, oh, my watch is telling me something. My Amazfit watch is telling me something. So here are your choices. We have, you're going to get 14. So you can get 14 of all the cinnamon. And this is pudding cake. It's incredibly moist. The cinnamon is a special cinnamon. And again, that topping is hand applied. So you can get all 14 in cinnamon, or you can get 8 in cinnamon and 6 of these other delicious flavors. I was just cutting into the beautiful raspberry, so you can do 8 cinnamon, 6 raspberry, or 8 cinnamon. Wait for it, the best chocolate cake you will ever have in your life. Yes, this is what my daughters had for breakfast this morning. I was like, best mom of the year. It's so good. It is like what you would get at a fine restaurant if you chose their best of the best chocolate cake. Or you can do, can you tell I like that one a lot? You can do 8 of the cinnamon and 6 of the lemon. Now here's your choice. First, you have to choose which flavors you want. Then you have to choose what ship dates you'd like. Now we can ship these out to you immediately, and I think that by far that has been the most popular option, because when we see something good, we want it when we want it. But you can also ship these out to you the week of March 22nd or the week of March 29th. They last 14 days in the fridge and 3 months in the freezer, so think ahead. And heads up, auto delivery on this one. Lowest price per cake we will do all year, so set yourself up for the rest of the year on the best price you're going to get. Every 60 days for 1 year, you will get another shipment, and you can even change the flavor on that one. So if you're looking at that brand new lemon, you want that bright lemon flavor for summer coming up, you can do that now and then change to the chocolate later on in the year. That's so easy to do. You can, oh, it's the microwave. You can do that. Oh, and they come out of the microwave. This is like 30 seconds to heaven. All right, your item number is M71743. And again, with that auto delivery, you can cancel it or delay it at any time. Definitely do it though, because this is the best price we're gonna do all year. All right. Jimmy Tanico is here. He is America's neighborhood baker. He cares so much, and it shows in what he does. Congratulations on your first Today's Special Value.
Thank you. I'm still awake, up since midnight.
Yeah, we were talking last night at like 9 p.m. and I was like, are you going to sleep? And he was like, no way. And he's like, although I was a little tired earlier today. Okay, this is what I did this morning. Took them right out of the freezer, put them in the microwave, brought them out. You're going to tell us why you put them in these individual little paper cups. But my daughters were like, you have the best job ever. We love these because they got to have chocolate cake for breakfast.
You're a nice mom.
Well, you're a nice baker, because I would never be able to do this myself. Talk to us about how important this is to listen to the QVC customer and give us what we are seeing today.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better shot right there that shows there's 2 main reasons why I think that we're head and shoulders above everybody else. What you're seeing there is a great looking cake, number one, because of process. And you'll see a layer of cake, and you see a ribbon of cinnamon going through the cake, another layer of cake on top of that, and then the New York style crumbs on top of that. So our devotion is to taste and moisture. Those are the two things that, for 10 years, I've heard the QVC customers say is that they want it moist and they want it to taste great above all else. And this is probably, I don't know, I want to say the 18th or 19th rendition of this cake over a 10-year period, because we kept listening. In fact, when we started, this cake was baked in a full sheet and we cut them in squares. And some customers said they didn't like corners. They didn't like edges, okay? So when we found this paper, which is brought to us over from Italy, that you can bake in, the great news about the paper is it does not conduct heat that well. And that sounds counterintuitive in baking, but the fact that it doesn't sear the outside of the cake, it allows the cake to bake evenly from the inside out and the outside in at the same time, gives every piece like the center cut. That's why every piece that you get is the same. It has the same amount of moisture. You don't get dry corners. We love this paper. We love this cake.
So talk to us about the pudding cake.
So when I was formulating the cake and looking for the best way to make a moist cake, I kept seeing online these home bakers tearing off some vanilla pudding mix and putting it into the cake mix. That it seemed a little wacky to me, but what we really have in this cake blend is the makings of vanilla pudding, It's that starch and sugar that when you make pudding, that brings in all the moisture. Not only brings it in, but it holds it in really well. That's why this cake is so moist, because of that kind of puddingish starches that you have at the center of the cake.
Look at that. When I have to be honest with you, Jimmy, when I heard chocolate crumb cake, I was like, wait a second. Crumb cake to me sounds like coffee cake, and chocolate, I don't know. I cannot even tell you, this is the best, and I am not exaggerating, the best chocolate cake I've ever had in my life. It is unlike anything I've ever had. It is so moist. The chocolate is so decadent. And then that crumb topping is just so different than anything I've had before.
Again, this is another one that took a little bit of doing, because when I saw this recipe, this blend, this devil's food cake, okay, it had black cocoa in it. And again, you would think if it's black cocoa, that means it has more chocolate flavor. It doesn't. That's one thing I learned about cocoa, is not necessarily. But when we paired it up with our crumb topping, which is made with a lighter cocoa, a much lighter cocoa, the two come together really well. And as you get to know me, I like competing flavors. I like vanilla and chocolate. I like a light chocolate and like a light chocolate and a dark chocolate. So it was just a coincidence that we happened to have the correct cocoa to match this cake. And you get this really, I must tell you that when we taste things, we close our eyes. And chocolate is a very difficult for people to identify when their eyes are closed if they don't know what they're eating. So this chocolate hits you in the back of the mouth. It really screams chocolate. And you're doing a great job there with that chocolate sauce, I might add.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. There you see the moistness. Like, that is moist in the dictionary. You see a picture of that. Okay, the brand new lemon. This is totally different too. Look, the topping is different. Tell us about that.
Yes, so it was a QVC customer over the past year has been asking me more and more for lemon. And honestly, I didn't think that lemon and cinnamon would go well together. But when I tried it, and frankly, took us a few tries on the amount of lemon going into the cake, we didn't want anything too lemony. We wanted to keep the moisture, of course. We wanted, let's call it a lemon note. This is not a lemon cake. So when you eat it, the vanilla, again, I like competing flavors. The lemon and the vanilla kind of come together really nicely. But instead of using the dark brown New York streusel, I used a white butter crumb. So again, because I wanted flavors to kind of compete against each other, the light butter crumb, along with the lemon flavor, the lemon note in the cake, and with the cinnamon swirl in the center, it really came together nicely. And you know what? It kind of reminds me of like a lady finger type taste, with a hint of lemon in it. It's got the butter notes bouncing off of each other. This is a nice addition, and I have to thank the QVC customer for their suggestion.
I have to thank them too, because I had it last night warm with ice cream. It was so good.
Yes.
Okay, and so everybody's going to be getting the cinnamon. This is where it all started, but this is not any cinnamon crumb cake you've ever had before. Unless you've
So-
had Jimmy's. And if you have, give us a call because it is beloved.
Well, what I love about the cinnamon is, and I was telling an associate, I wish we didn't call it Jimmy the Baker, because the people who make this cake, it's Frankie, my plant manager, and Sal and Anthony, these guys who really put their heart and soul into my process. And a lot of times I look at them and say, I want it this way. That's a picture of a younger Jimmy the Baker right there. But what you're going to see is process. Everything starts on that bench. Everything starts small, everything starts homemade, and there's a commitment to keep it homemade, even with a rolling pin. Yes, could even start that. But you see handwork. You see fruit being placed in by hand, crumbs being placed on top by hand, because we want that rustic look. We want you to get the same amount in every cake, but we want that rustic homemade look. We want it to bake evenly. We want it to cool evenly. We want you to be consistent throughout every bite of cake. And that's what I think we do so well.
Okay, so now everybody's mouths are watering. I know mine is.
Okay.
Now is the time to decide which one you are going to want. And know that this is our lowest price per cake of the year. So go on auto delivery. And if you can't decide, you just change it for your next shipment, which will only be in 60 days. So here are your choices. Close to 31,000 orders now placed on the day. This is 14 of the cinnamon. And by the way, I haven't even talked about how big these are. I would cut this in half and share it. So while this is about $2 and change on its own, then it works to like, what, $1.15 per serving? You would never be able to get that at your coffee shop or restaurant. So 14 in the cinnamon. But if you wanted the cinnamon and then one of the other flavors, don't you worry. We're going to give you 8 of the cinnamon and then 6 of that raspberry. That's the one right here. Rick Domeyer kicked this off with you at midnight, and he's in love with the raspberry. It is hard to choose, but for me, it's all about the chocolate. If you are a chocolate lover, do yourself a favor and pick up the chocolate. And then we have that beautiful, bright, new lemon, which if you are a lemon lover, again, it's gonna be something unlike you've ever tasted before. This is our first TSV with Jimmy the Baker. We are celebrating 10 years with you here at QVC, and so we're giving you a fantastic value today. So first you choose which of the flavors you would like. Then we have a choice of ship weeks. We can ship them out to you immediately, which most people are choosing. The week of March 22nd, maybe you have your freezer full and you need a little bit more time, or the week of March 29th. Then go on auto delivery, because every 60 days for 1 year, you're gonna lock in that price. Even if you've never tried these before, definitely check off auto delivery, because you're gonna love them so much and you're gonna come back and the price will be higher and you're gonna be like, ugh, why didn't I do auto delivery? You can cancel it at any time. And in fact, you can return these, so to speak. We'll give you your money back if you don't love them. That's what we do on all of our gourmet food here at QVC, and they ship to you for free. This works out, again, to like $2.30-something per cake, and they're big. Now let's talk about how they come in these. It's kind of like a little accordion. You open it up like this. It's paper from Italy, and they come open like this. So when we get these home, we can put them in the fridge or in the freezer, but you can heat them up in these in the microwave, and I highly recommend that. It is absolutely delicious. But you did this because it keeps them moist, and it's like everybody gets that centerpiece. You know when you get to the end and you don't want the corner piece, everybody fights over what's in the center? No fighting here. You all get the center. You all get moist all the way around and not hard on one side or a corner.
One other thing let's talk about the raspberry before we leave.
Yes.
And that is the raspberry cake. This is not a pudding cake. This is a sour cream coffee cake. Ooh. And we chose a sour cream coffee cake because it was a little bit more sturdy, okay? But the star of the day is the raspberry filling. And, in our business, there's a lot of guys who supply really quality fruit filling, but we decided to make our own. And the old-fashioned way of making a fruit pie was to simply take fruit, starch, and sugar and to cook it up. And this, in effect, is what this is. So there's two things that are important to know about this particular cake, and that is the fruit is made here right at the bakery. And secondly, it's put in by hand because